Hello again, Internet. This is the Bagel. I'm going to now teach you how to fold the L Tetrimino, as I'm going to do with all of these Tetrimino videos. I'm going to start with an 8x8 grid. I'm going to be teaching you the orange Tetrimino. This is the blue, if you couldn't tell. It's made from a single sheet of paper. Like I said, we're going to start by an 8x8 grid with an 8x8 grid. If you don't already have one, fold one. You can pause right now and come back to it. Alright, now that you're back, we're just going to take off the bottom 3 rows of the paper, just right like this. Right like this. So basically, you want to crease really hard, making sure you're folding 3 units over. And then what you want to do is you want to reverse on that crease. Crease really hard again. And then start a tear on that crease, and then you can just spread the paper apart. And now you're left with some scrap paper. You can just take this and set it to the side, do whatever you want with it. So now we should have a 5x8 grid, but what we need for this is a 5x7 grid. So we're going to end up taking off a 1x5 strip. Don't take off a strip going long ways, take off one of the shorter ends. So you're just going to do the same thing. And then take it off, just like that. Very important that you don't mess up the proportions. Sorry if I sound quiet, it is later at night and I'm trying not to wake anybody. Also, I am tired, so that's that. So now you can see we have a 7x5 grid. What we're going to do is we're going to go up to the middle row. So we got 3 on top, 3 on bottom, and the row in the middle. We're going to look specifically at the second and fourth square in that row. What we're going to do is we're going to make valley folds that go from this point to this point, and from this point to this point. So basically we're just going to make a diagonal crease in that particular square. So just like that. I think my pinches might have been slightly off there. Let me see if I can adjust that a little bit. Nope. I think that's just going to be how it's going to be. Alright. And believe it or not, now we're already done with that. We're just going to make diagonal creases from this point to that point and do the same thing in this, and this square. No need to fold in this square, so fold a diagonal crease from this point to that point. And then the next square over. Then the next square over, and then the next square over, but not the next square over. So it should look something like this. You should have the 2 creases that we made earlier, and then you should have all those slashes. Now we're going to mirror this up here, so now we need a crease from that intersection to this point. All of this should be valleys with the white side up. And then do the same thing over here. And then just once again keep doing that. So you've got something like that. And now we're all done with the new creases. So what we're going to do is we're just going to fold on these middle creases that we already had. Only pinching on those. Now what you're going to want to do is rotate it this way. You're going to want to bring up this front layer just like that. And then we're going to hold it from this perspective and just kind of like swing that flap over to where now you have the bottom edge, or the bottom layer, and then you want this to be basically you want this edge to line up with this crease in here. So it should look a little something like this. And you just want to repeat that on the other side. I'm going to unfold it and just show you again. So you want to pinch on that square, fold up on the valley crease, and then swing in, making a mountain fold there and there. And we're going to overlap these two. And the way we want to do it is when we're, because basically we've got a flap and we're going to put it in the pocket. You want to make sure whenever we do that, that the diagonal creases end up on top of the creaseless units. So what I mean is you'll just stick that flap in that pocket. You'll have to kind of like fiddle with it and wiggle that inside. You want to make sure these diagonal creases are on top and that you don't have the other way around, because in order to close the ends, that's just what we need. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to look at one of the ends. I'm going to look at this one in particular, not that it really matters. We're going to go behind the diagonal crease to the square that has no crease, and we're just going to fold it down using the diagonal crease that's right there. Come on. I think my grid might have been a little too rushed. Okay, there we go. So it should look like that, and then you just want to work your way around, doing that, and then that, and then that. Now you just curve this little flap, and try to work that into the nearest little pocket. It might not work, because the paper might not be cooperating, so that's when you whip out some sort of paper clip or something, and you just want to kind of shove it in that pocket and just pull up, try to fix any glitches the paper might have, and it should end up looking kind of like that. Then you want to go to the other one, and everything's just going to be mirrored, so you're going to once again fold down the square without any creases, and then just work your way around just like that. And then you can try to tuck this in. See, that time it actually worked. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. I don't really know what variable affects that. And then for the orange Tetrimino, it is normally oriented like this, at least in like Tetris 99 specifically. I think just modern Tetris games in general are like this, but I mostly just play Tetris 99. Tetris Effect too, but that one doesn't have your typical colors, so I can't really say too much on that. But yeah, so there you have it. You've got your orange El Tetrimino. Now, if you want to alter which side the seam is on, let's say you're wanting to fold the El Tetrimino that is blue. You don't want that seam to be there, so what you would do instead is, like on this one's made out of like 6.5 inch kami or something. I'll just unfold it and show you. You would just want to start your creases for the closed ends on the opposite side. So we started them with these creases pointing upward at this angle. We started them at the right side and worked our way back. You can see I kind of did it both ways just to play with it on this little test unit. But you would want to start from the left and just make 4 diagonal creases instead on making the blue one. That way the crease will, or the seam will be in the back, and you'll just have a clean looking El Tetrimino. But yeah, that's that. That also applies to the S Tetrimino, just so you know. But yeah, so now you know how to fold both the I and the El Tetrimino. Next, I'm going to be teaching you how to fold the S Tetrimino, so stay tuned for that. And until then, see ya.